All right. So I'm going to do the first part. I'm going to do the the points. So we're going to create a new level. Will be basic. The other thing I want to do is grab the versus blueprints. There we go. Grab the now game. Copy here. Copy here. Because I built this with the C++ side, I have a third-person blueprint class. I'm going to need to copy that here as well. All right, so let's go through. This is going to be game PP game pawn. And this will be rename third person. All right, so let's just get into the well, rename this game. There we go. Okay, let's go in. Rather than, we're going to use our nano game controller, player controller. Our default pawn class is going to be there we go. And that's what we need right now to get this started. Okay. Compile, we can close this. And then under our world settings, make sure we're going to our nano game mode. There we go. So I press play, hooray, we've got a clean game mode and whatnot, do what we need to do. All right. It is very easy to think, like one of the things that we might have done in the first is gone to our pawn. Stock this right here and gone in and put the points in here. That's not necessarily how we want to go about doing this. And I'm just going to go up and just make sure, save the current level as there we go. I'll go back and I'll do, and just for the sake of argument, actually put this one. There we go. So for future use. We may have gone into our game pawn. I know in some cases we had gone and went into get the content drawer, the game mode, and gone in the full blueprint editor and stuff in here. That's not going to work this time because again we don't have, because when we run the game on the server, when we run the game, we're not going to have essentially. We're not going to have access to these classes. So the first thing that we're going to do is we know that in terms of for the player controller, we're going to need to create a new blueprint class, and they've got so you can see here player state, game state. We're going to start with the player state. So again, it's player state is created for every player on the server or in a standalone game. Player states are replicated to all clients and contain network game relevant information about the player, such as player names, scores, etc. Guess what we're doing today? So there we go. So this is going to be the BP nano player state. Make sure I save everything. I'm just going to jump in. And I'm just going to go to like down here. It's not much. What I need is just variables in this case. In this case, it's going to be player. Sorry, not player name. It should be display name. So this is think of the the username and the display name are not the same thing. So we're going to deal with the player player name, display name. And this we're going to make. I'm just going to make it a string for right now. I'll have to think about. We'll use string for right now. And I'm going to make this instance editable. Basically make it public. The other variable we're going to make is the player score, and that's going to be an integer. So I'll make that instance editable. So basically by doing this, it's going to make this public. Let's go in and make sure these are replicated. Player score, where is it? Oh, no. There we go, being covered up. There we go. So I'm just gonna make them replicated so that I'm gonna save compile. Player score obviously going to start with 0. Display name, put something in here. So default player, but that's boring. So let's do something funny. Dafu. There we go. So, I'm going to do something funny because why not? But if you're doing a more serious application, you might just put in default player. So let's save that. Let's go back. Compile. Let's go back to our nano game pawn. Let's go back to our nano game. All right, so let's create a trigger. In this case, we're going to basically, let me go back to the pawn for one moment. Let's have a function here. It's going to be add score, and we're going to add an input points earned, and that's going to be an integer for obvious reasons. All right, we're going to call this. Basically, we're going to have trigger says, "Hey pawn, you've earned points." Give the and then we'll work out what how that mechanic works in one moment. So let's save this, compile, and save. Let's now make new blueprint class is going to be an actor class. This is going to be BP points giver. Okay. So this object here is just for us to run through, and so that we know that we've got points that we're getting effectively. All right, and that's basically here. Add the cube. Make that 0.1, which is put a material on it. Use the hex, because why not? Then we'll add box collision. We'll call this the trigger. Move that up 55. Make these 50, which is par for the course for what we're doing here. Hooray! So now that we've got that, we can go to our event graph. Delete all of these. I'm just going to do add event collision. Click on trigger collision, and we're going to do on component begin overlap. And I'm just going to take the other actor. I'm going to cast to BP nano game pawn. And then I do need to add a variable here. This is points earned integer. Compile. Let's give this do a value of 10 just so we have something here. So now that we've got that, we can go to our pawn and be like, what did I call the function? Add score. There we go. Add score. And we'll grab this, plug that in, make sure that's instant editable. And so, hooray. And then we can say print. We're going to go and we're going to, to make ourselves easier, we'll go back to our nano game pawn. We're going to do another one. It'll be add, get get player display name. And this will be an output, which will be player name. That'll be a string. We'll come back. We'll come back to this in one moment. Also, get that. There we go. So right now, stub code. We will come back and come back. We'll come back to this as so. Let's think about that. We'll come back to this at some point. We'll save everything. Compile and save everything. And so just for sake of that, we can go use append, add a pin. So points earned. Add another one. There we go. So space earned points, and then we'll just grab that, and it'll be get all right. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the nano the pawn again. I'm going to turn this into a pure function. Let's compile. We go back to points giver. You can see now, hooray, I don't have to link that into the exec node. So basically, right now, every time when we score points right now, it's going to say who dat earned X points because we haven't gone in and done the name yet. So compile. Let's get this into our scene. I'm just going to make it twice as big. I'll put that there. So there we go. So far, so good. All right, so let's go back to our points giver. We've gone to the add score. It's using add score. It's setting this all up. Let's go back to the pawn. Let's go back to our add score. So right now we're not doing anything. So the big issue is that let's go to our player state. So let's go in right now. Let's take two functions. Let's we'll call it add to score. And again, we'll have an input here, which will be points earned. Again, a integer. So we'll call this, this function will get called. Again, player score will be here, get that. We can add them together and then set player score. So far so good. Compile. Let's yeah. So let's just print. I'll do another append. Player score get. There we go. So just for right now, we can see when we add to score, everything is going to work. So let's go back. Let's go to our game pawn. All right. Okay. So let's get the player. Oh, there he goes. Get player state. So again, here we go. So we can get just the player state off of index 0, which is basically going to be our, our player effectively. Turn value. We do need the cast to BP nano state. And then we're going to go there. We're going to add to score. And we're just going to plug this in like that. So let's run the game now. So we are seeing, so again, we're seeing this kick off. Add to score. sure this is coming in. Okay. All right. I think what's going on is that so what's going on is basically right now we're trying to add the score, trying to get the player state, but it's not taking because let me just do my output log. No, it's not. It's not showing any errors. This is one of those things that we probably need to pass. So what we need to do is go to our player controller. There we go. Let's grab these. Let's make a new event. Add event. Add custom event. So add score, basically we want to run on the server. Inputs, again, obviously is going to be our earn points. Again, going to use an integer. So the idea here is that we're going to go to our player controller, jump from the player controller to the server. And this is because player state is typically only managed by the player controller, managed by the server. So here we're going to get, get player state. Player state. Oh, index player state array. What we want is, hold on. Let me reference itself. We want our player controller. We want to get. There you go. Get player state. BP. And then I'm going to do add to score. No. There we go. Grab these, put these up here. Okay. So the idea here is we're going to go through our player controller, jump up to the server, and then address again I think the player state is only editable up on the server side. So that's what we've got to do is we got to jump up to here. So let's go here. Let's go back. Save everything. We don't need points giver open. I don't need the nanostate player open or game mode. Let's go back to the pawn. So here, rather than get our player state, we'll get, let's take all this out. Get player controller. Actually, get controller. Gas to BP. Now again, PC. And then as the now game PC. Yeah, well, I did get add score. So it's replicated server if owning client. So let's compile this. Jump back in. We do have a player state. Let's just jump and look at it quickly. Roll after, where is... Oh, you know what I've done wrong? Let's go back to our game mode. And I've done what I haven't done over here is set game state, player controller, player state. Yeah, I haven't set the player state class. So I should have been getting errors, but there we go. So I wasn't using the correct. So you can see that. There you go. So that was my big mistake is I did not did not have it the correct player player state class assigned on the game mode. So now if I had basically the the HUD, the next thing I'd be going mapping into there, but I'd be getting the idea here is that we go back to the game pawn. I got my controller first. In the pawn itself, like I will want to get my controller, and then from here I'm going to get game state. Sorry, get player state. So now I am dealing with the player state that this controller is dealing with. Does this starting to make sense? Have I shown you enough to get going? All right, I'm gonna leave you here. I'm gonna see how far you will get. I will probably do another like mini lecture on Thursday about like, okay, we gotta set up the control. We gotta set up the panel for set that up. How is that panel going to work? Who's controlling it? All that good stuff. So. Any questions for me before I just cut you loose? All right, I'm going to stop the recording here and I'll upload it.